The evolution of museum guides from tape recorders to AI, 1980s to 1990s. The 1980s and 1990s witnessed the compact disc revolution that rippled through the museum world, leaving the clunky cassette tapes of the past behind audio guides, once confined to the hiss and limited playtime of cassettes, embraced to the shiny wonders of CDs. So cassette conked out, CD cranked up. My name is Pepe Romani, welcome to this new edition. Early adopters. We have several museums that decided to go with CDs, and probably I should mention the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. We know that they already had CD-based audio guides in the late 1980s, probably around 1988, 1989. We also have the Smithsonian Institute. That's similar to the Met. The Smithsonian might have been an early adopter, considering their history of embracing new technologies. So we don't have concrete details about it, but we think that those two probably were the first ones. And then we also have the Musée d'Orsay in Paris. Even though we don't have the exact date, we know that in the early 1990s, they already had CD-based audio guides. So this digital leap brought several advancements. Number one, it enhanced audio quality. Gone were the warbles and pops of tapes players. So CD delivered crisp, clear sound, allowing visitors to fully immerse themselves in the narrated content. So imagine the difference between a scratchy vinyl and a high fidelity recording. That's the jump cassettes to CDs made for museum experiences. So we also have the thematic tours bloom, so they increase the storage capacity of CDs, open doors to thematic tours. So museums could curate a specific narrative focused on, say, a particular artist, a historical period, or even architectural highlights. As a result, visitors with diverse interests could have a more personalized experience. And then, of course, the flexibility flourishes. Unlike cassettes with their fixed track order, CDs allowed for non-linear navigation, so visitors could jump between points of interest, replay specific sections, or create their own customized tours. This newfound control empowered individual exploration and promoted new different learning styles. However, amidst these advancements, limitations persisted. Though superior to tape players, CD devices remain bulky and awkward. Visitors often juggle bulky players, headphones, and guidebooks, hindering their museum experience. Yep. Imagine lugging around a portable CD player today. That was the reality for any museum goer like me. Despite the leap in technology, user interfaces remain unintuitive. So true. So navigation was often cumbersome, and interacting with the content lacked the fluidity we expected today. The potential for truly interactive experiences with multimedia elements and personalized recommendations remain unrealized. So, despite these limitations, the CD era laid the groundwork for the future. It proved the value of audio guides in enriching museum visits and hinted at the even greater potential that awaited with further technological advancements. Therefore, the seeds of personalized interactivity and accessibility were sown, waiting to blossom in the digital age to come. While CDs took center stage in the 1980s and 1990s, there were other interesting technologies related to audio guides during that period. So let's talk about Laserdisc audio guides. They were developed in the 70s, and Laserdiscs offered even higher audio quality than CDs and could store video sequences. Some museums experimented with Laserdisc-based audio guides, particularly for exhibits with strong visual components. However, the high cost and complexity limited their widespread adoption. The Smithsonian Institute is known for its early adoption of new technologies, and it's likely they experimented with Laserdisc guides in some exhibits during the 1980s. However, specific details are challenging to find without, further research. but I think that I'm not wrong about this one. The other technology was infrared and radio frequency transmission. Instead of carrying bulky devices, some museums explore transmitting audio directly to visitors' headphones. Infrared and radio frequency, RF, which is still used in some technology systems, were used with transmitters positioned near exhibits, triggering relevant audio segments on visitors' devices. This offered a more hand-free experience but had limitations in range and could be susceptible to interferences. The Cooper Hewitt Smithsonian Design Museum in New York City reportedly used an infrared audio guide system in the 1990s. And also the Museum of Fine Arts Boston implemented an early RF-based audio guide system in the late 1980s, although details are scarce. Excuse me. We also had personalized digital assistants, PDAs. Oh, who don't remember them? In the late 1990s, the PDAs emerged, paving the way for a glimpse into the future. Some museums experimented with PDA models. For instance, we can talk about the Brooklyn Museum, which piloted a PDA-based audio guide program in 1999, offering visitors access to text, images, and audio content and handheld devices. The Exploratorium in San Francisco also experimented with PDAs in the late 1990s, showcasing their potential for interactive museum experiences. And finally, we have interactive kiosks. Oh, I love interactive kiosks. I love them so much. Although not a strictly portable, interactive kiosk positioned throughout museums offered a different audio guide experience. So these touchscreen terminals displayed information, triggered audio segments, and sometimes even incorporated games or quizzes. While not as personal as individual devices, they offered a more engaging alternative to traditional printed guides. So many museums embraced interactive kiosks in the 1990s, including the Met, the Art Institute of Chicago, and the Science Museum in London. While not solely focused on audio delivery, they offered multimedia experiences that completed traditional audio guides. So it's important to note that these technologies often existed in parallel with the more prevalent CD-based guides. While not as widely adopted, they showcase innovative spirit and experimentation, paving the way for the more sophisticated and portable audio guides we can see today. Part 4 of this historic series will come out soon. So it's going to focus on information from the years 2000 to 2020. And well, as usual, this is Pepe Remani with AI Museum News. Fins aviat.